The emergency alarm blared through the corridors of the Earth Alliance vessel Horizon. Commander Olivia Scott rushed to the bridge, her boots echoing against the metal floor. The ship had been patrolling the outer reaches of human territory, a routine mission that had been uneventful until now. "Status report," she ordered as the door slid open. Lieutenant Noah Carter looked up from his tactical station. His normally calm face showed concern. "We're picking up a distress signal, Commander. It's not one of ours." Olivia moved to her command chair and studied the main screen. "Origin? That's the strange part," said Communications Officer Diane Miller, her fingers moving quickly over her console. "It's coming from the empty sector beyond the Arcturus stream. There shouldn't be anyone out there." "Play it," Olivia said. A series of sounds filled the bridge. Not words exactly, but haunting tones that rose and fell in a pattern that couldn't be random. "Can we translate it?" Miller shook her head. "The computer doesn't recognize the language." "Pattern. It's nothing we've encountered before." The bridge crew exchanged glances. In the 50 years since humans had joined the Galactic Confederation, they had encountered 27 spacefaring species. All their languages were in the database. "Could it be a trap?" asked Carter. "The Dravek have been pushing against our borders for months." Olivia considered this. Relations with several Confederation species had grown tense recently. The Dravek, in particular, seemed to think humans had expanded too quickly into space. "What does your gut tell you, Lieutenant?" she asked. Carter studied the signal pattern on his screen. "It's too irregular for a lure. There's desperation in it." "I agree," said Olivia. "Plot a course to the signal's origin. Yellow alert." The navigator, Ensign Ben Foster, turned in his chair. "Commander, that would take us beyond Earth Alliance territory. The Confederation Council hasn't approved any exploration in that sector." "We're not exploring. We're responding to a distress call," Olivia said firmly. "It's still the law of space. Last I checked." As the Horizon changed course, Olivia called the ship's doctor. "Dr. Linda Martinez, prepare for possible medical emergency. Unknown species." "Understood, Commander," came the reply. "I'll have my team ready." The journey took 4 hours. When they dropped out of faster-than-light travel, the view on the main screen made everyone on the bridge fall silent. A ship drifted in space before them. It was unlike any vessel they had seen before, organic-looking, with curves that reminded Olivia of seashells. But large sections were burned away, revealing damaged internal systems that sparked weakly. "Life signs?" Olivia asked. Science Officer Jeff Brown studied his readings. "Very faint, maybe 8 or 9 individuals. Their life patterns are unusual, lots of electrical activity. Any weapons damage?" "Definitely," said Carter. "Those aren't accident patterns. Someone did this deliberately." Olivia stood. "Prepare a boarding party. Carter, Miller, you're with me. Dr. Martinez will meet us in the shuttle bay. Tell engineer Greg Taylor to bring tools for emergency repairs." 20 minutes later, their shuttle docked with the damaged alien vessel. The team wore sealed suits not just for protection against vacuum in damaged sections, but also as a precaution against unknown biology. The interior of the ship was even stranger than the outside. The corridors seemed grown rather than built, with walls that had a slight give when touched. Emergency lights cast a pale blue glow that barely pushed back the darkness. "This way," said Brown, following readings on his scanner. "The survivors are gathered in what might be a central chamber." They moved carefully through the ship, passing rooms with alien technology they couldn't begin to understand. In some places, the damage was so severe that they had to climb through broken sections. When they reached the central chamber, they found a door sealed shut. Carter examined the strange symbols on the wall beside it. "I think this is their equivalent of a lockdown," he said. "They've barricaded themselves in." Miller stepped forward. "Let me try something." She played back the distress signal they had received, amplifying it through her suit's speakers. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft glow appeared around the edges of the door, and it slowly opened. The humans raised their lights and looked. Inside, what they saw made them freeze in wonder. 8 beings huddled together in the room. They were humanoid in basic shape with 2 arms and 2 legs, but their skin glowed with soft blue and green light that pulsed gently. They had no hair, and their large eyes had no pupils, just pools of light. The tallest was maybe 5 feet high. One of the aliens stepped forward. Unlike the others who wore simple garments, this one had elaborate markings on its light-emitting skin. It raised a 6-fingered hand in what seemed like a greeting. "I'm Commander Olivia Scott of the Earth Alliance," Olivia said. Though she knew they couldn't understand her, she mimicked the hand gesture. The alien's skin flashed brighter for a moment. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke. "Help. Danger. Hunt us." The words were heavily accented, but unmistakably English. Miller gasped. "How can it speak our language?" The alien touched its throat. "Learn from signal. Mind connects patterns." Its skin pulsed with each word. "I, Thala, we, Luminari." Dr. Martinez moved closer, scanner in hand. "Several are injured. This one appears to be elderly." Another Luminari stepped forward, protectively. It was taller than Thala, and its light pulsed more rapidly. "Vexus," said Thala, pointing to it. "Protector." "What happened to your ship?" Olivia asked slowly. Thala's light dimmed. "Other ships. Attack. All attack. Many ships. Many kinds." The elderly alien made a sweeping gesture. "All Confederation on hunt Luminari now." The humans exchanged confused glances. The Galactic Confederation was supposed to protect all sentient species. "Why?" asked Carter. "Why would they hunt you?" Thala's whole body flickered. "Say we. Disease. Say we. Danger." The alien struggled with the words. "No truth. No disease. They fear what we see." "What do you see?" asked Olivia. Thala reached out slowly and touched Olivia's helmet. The alien's fingertips left trails of light that faded after a few seconds. "See truth. Inside beings. See." Thala searched for the word. "See minds. Not free." A loud alarm suddenly blared from Carter's equipment. "Commander, we have multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Confederation signatures." Olivia made a quick decision. "We need to get them to the horizon now. Martinez, are they stable enough to move?" "The injured need care, but yes," the doctor replied. "Then let's move. Taylor, grab any data cores or technology you can disconnect quickly." Olivia turned back to Thala. "We want to help you. Will you come with us?" The Luminari elder considered for a moment, then nodded. "Humans, different. Maybe humans, help." Thala gave instructions to the others in their native language, a series of musical tones. As they hurried back through the damaged ship, Olivia couldn't help wondering what they were getting into. The Confederation was hunting these beings, and by rescuing them, the Horizon might be breaking interstellar law. But looking at the gentle light creatures following them trustingly, she knew she was making the right choice. Whatever the reason for the persecution, she would not leave them to die. The Horizon sped away from the damaged Luminari vessel, pushing its engines to maximum speed. Commander Olivia Scott stood on the bridge, watching the tactical display as 5 Confederation ships appeared where they had just been. "They're scanning the Luminari ship," Lieutenant Carter reported. "No pursuit yet. Keep us at maximum speed," Olivia ordered. "Set course for Earth Alliance Outpost 47. She pressed a button on her chair. "Commander Scott to Medical Bay. How are our guests doing?" Dr. Martinez's voice came through the speakers. "They're stable, Commander. Their biology is fascinating. They seem to absorb energy directly through their skin. I've increased the light in the medical bay and it's helping them recover. Can any of them talk more with us? I need information before we reach the outpost." "The elder, Thala, is asking. For you," Martinez replied. Olivia turned to her second-in-command. "Carter, you have the bridge. Keep monitoring those Confederation ships. Let me know immediately if they change course toward us." In the medical bay, the Luminari were spread across several beds. Their skin glowed more brightly now, pulsing with gentle blue-green light. Thala sat upright, while the protector, Vexus, stood nearby. Olivia approached them. "How are you feeling?" Thala's light pulsed. "Better. Your healing place. Good energy." The elder's English was already improving. "Thank you for saving us." "Can you tell me why the Confederation is hunting your people?" Olivia asked. Thala's light dimmed slightly. 3 cycles ago, Confederation leaders visited our world. We welcomed them. Then, everything changed. "What happened?" They said. "We carry disease," said our radiation harms other species. Thala's hands moved expressively. "Not true. Luminari never harm. We healers, teachers." Vexus stepped forward, speaking for the first time. Its voice was deeper than Thala's, the words more clipped. "They burn our cities, kill millions. No warning." Olivia felt a chill. The Confederation included over 30 spacefaring civilizations and prided itself on its peaceful cooperation. Such actions seemed unthinkable. "Our leaders tried to speak," Thala continued. "Show proof. No disease." They would not listen. All species agreed. "Luminari must end." "All species?" Olivia asked. "Every single member of the Confederation agreed to this?" "All voted yes," Vexus said bitterly. "You're humans not there. Too new to vote on. Extinction matters." Olivia walked to a computer console and typed rapidly. "I need to understand what we're dealing with. May I scan one of you? To see this radiation they're talking about?" Thala nodded. "Truth is important." Science Officer Jeff Brown arrived with scanning equipment. He worked carefully, recording readings from Thala's glowing skin. "I'm detecting unusual radiation patterns," he said after several minutes. "Very low level. Nothing that would harm other species based on what we know about Confederation biology." "Could it be something we don't understand?" Olivia asked. "Possibly, but..." Brown studied the readings more closely. "This pattern is strange. It's almost like it's searching." Thala touched the scanner gently. "Not radiation, life energy. How we see." "See what?" asked Olivia. Before Thala could answer, the ship's communication system activated. "Bridge to Commander Scott. We're approaching Outpost 47, and Admiral Frank Peters is demanding to speak with you immediately." "I'll be right there," Olivia replied. She turned to the Luminari. "Rest now, we'll continue this conversation soon." When Olivia returned to the bridge, the stern face of Admiral Peters filled the main screen. His gray hair was cut short, and his expression was not friendly. "Commander Scott, I've received troubling reports. Did you rescue aliens from a ship beyond authorized space?" "Yes, Admiral. We responded to a distress signal. 8 survivors of a species called the Luminari. Their ship was attacked," Peters frowned. "I've just received an official communication from the Confederation Council. They claim these aliens are carriers of a dangerous biological agent. All Confederation ships have been ordered to eliminate them on sight." Olivia kept her voice steady. "With respect, sir, our medical scans show no evidence of any dangerous disease. These people are refugees fleeing genocide." "That's a serious accusation, Commander." "It's what they told us, sir. And what we saw matches their story. Their ship was deliberately attacked." Peters glanced off screen, then lowered his voice. "Doc, at Base 7 when you arrive. Medical quarantine protocols. I want to see these aliens myself before I report to Earth Alliance headquarters." The screen went blank. Carter looked at Olivia with concern. "Do you think the Admiral will turn them over to the Confederation?" "Not without proof they're dangerous," Olivia said. She wasn't entirely convinced of that herself, but she had to believe in the system she served. Communications Officer Miller raised her hand. "Commander, I've been monitoring Confederation channels. There's a lot of chatter about the Luminari. They're calling them the contaminated ones and existential threats." "Keep listening," Olivia told her. "I want to know what we're dealing with." Outpost 47 appeared on their screens, a large space station orbiting a small moon. As they approached, Olivia noticed something unusual. "There are a lot of ships docked there," she said. "That's not normal for this outpost." "Confederation vessels," Carter confirmed. 3 Drevek warships, 2 Athosian diplomatic craft, and several others I don't recognize. Olivia's concern deepened. Why would there be a gathering of Confederation species at a human outpost in this remote sector? Engineer Greg Taylor entered the bridge holding a small device. "Commander, I managed to download some data from the Luminari ship before we left. Their navigation records show they've been running for weeks, trying to find safe harbor. Every place they approached turned them away or tried to destroy them," Carter added grimly. The Horizon docked carefully at Bay 7. A medical team in full containment suits waited for them. Admiral Peters stood behind them, watching through a viewing window. As Olivia led the Luminari, from the ship she noted how the medical team stepped back nervously. The aliens' glowing skin made them seem otherworldly. "These are the last survivors of their ship," Olivia told the Admiral through her communication link. "They need protection, not quarantine." Admiral Peters studied the Luminari carefully. "Bring the leader to the secure conference room. You too, Commander. The rest stay in quarantine until we know more." As they walked through the station, Olivia noticed how people stopped to stare at Thala. The Elder's light pulsed more rapidly, almost anxiously. "What's wrong?" Olivia asked quietly. Thala's voice was barely a whisper. "Many eyes watching. Not all human." "What do you mean?" "Some look human. Inside, not human." Thala's light dimmed to almost nothing. "This why they hunt us. We see what hides inside." Admiral Peters led Commander Scott and Thala into a secure conference room. The walls were plain metal with no windows. A large table stood in the center, with chairs around it. 2 armed guards stood by the door. "Sit down," Peters said. His voice was not friendly but not openly hostile either. The 3 of them sat at the table. Thala's light pulsed gently in the room's bright lighting. "Now," said Peters, looking directly at Thala, "explain what you meant about some people not being human inside." Thala's hands moved in a flowing gesture. "Hard to explain with simple words. Luminari see energy patterns, life force. Each species has unique pattern." The Elder pointed to Olivia. "Human pattern is bright, complex, but some here have wrong pattern inside human body." Peters frowned. "Are you suggesting some kind of disguise or possession?" "Not spirit thing," Thala said quickly. "Physical, small beings, live inside. Control from brainstem." Olivia felt a chill run down her spine. "Parasites? You're saying there are parasitic aliens controlling humans?" Thala nodded. "Not just humans, many species. Leaders of Confederation, most are controlled." Peters stood up abruptly. "That's a serious accusation. Do you have any proof beyond your ability to see these things?" "Can show," said Thala. "If allowed to touch someone with parasite, can make it visible for short time." The Admiral paced the room. "Commander Scott, what do you make of this?" Olivia thought carefully before answering. "It would explain the Confederation's extreme reaction. If these parasites control key leaders, and the Luminari can expose them, then the Luminari are a threat to their power," Peters finished. "But this sounds like science fiction. Body-snatching aliens?" The door to the conference room opened, and Communications Officer Miller rushed in. The guards moved to stop her, but Peters waved them back. "Sorry to interrupt, Admiral," Miller said breathlessly, "but we've just received an official transmission from the Confederation Council. They're demanding we turn over all Luminari immediately. They say—" She paused, looking troubled. "They say if we don't comply within 6 hours, Earth will be considered in violation of Confederation law and subject to sanctions." Peter's face darkened. "They're threatening us? Over 8 refugees?" "There's more, sir," Miller continued. "I've been monitoring their secure channels. Several Confederation ships are preparing to break off from the station. I think they're positioning for a potential extraction operation. They would attack a human outpost? Olivia asked in disbelief. They destroyed our world, Thala said quietly. 8 refugees not worth much compared to that. Peters pressed a button on the table. Security, go to condition yellow. I want all Confederation visitors restricted to their quarters. No ship leaves without my direct authorization. He turned to Olivia. Get your crew ready. If things go bad, you may need to transport the Luminari out of here quickly. Where would we go? Olivia asked. If the entire Confederation is hunting them? I'm going to contact Earth Alliance headquarters, Peters said. This decision is above my pay grade. When they left the conference room, Olivia took Thala back to the quarantine area where the other Luminari waited. Vexus moved forward immediately. What happened? The Protector asked. Olivia explained the situation while Thala spoke to the others, in their musical language. How long have these parasites been controlling people? Olivia asked when they finished. Many, many cycles, Thala replied. They come slowly. Take important people first. Leaders, thinkers. Now many worlds controlled but not know it. Are there any on the horizon? Among my crew? Thala's light pulsed reassuringly. No. Your ship clean. What about this station? Some, maybe 5, 6. Thala looked troubled. One very close to Admiral. Olivia's mind raced. I need to warn him. Who is it? Before Thala could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Lieutenant Carter's voice came, through Olivia's communicator. Commander, we have a situation. 3 Confederation ships have undocked without authorization. They're charging weapons. Get back to the ship, Olivia ordered. Prepare for emergency departure. She turned to the Luminari. We need to move now. As they hurried through the corridors, station personnel ran in all directions. Emergency bulkheads began to close. They're going to lock down the station, Olivia realized. We need to hurry. They were halfway to the Horizon's docking bay when a group of security officers blocked their path. At their head stood Chief Security Officer Barbara Wilson, a woman Olivia had met briefly upon arrival. Stop right there, Commander, Wilson said. Her hand rested on her weapon. The aliens are to be turned over to Confederation custody immediately. I have orders from Admiral Peters to return them to my ship, Olivia countered. Wilson smiled, but there was something wrong about the expression. The Admiral has reconsidered. The risk to the station is too great. Olivia noticed how Thala's light had dimmed almost completely. The Elder was staring at Wilson with what looked like fear. That's not what the Admiral told me, Olivia said carefully. Let me speak with him directly. That won't be necessary, Wilson replied. She raised her hand, and the security officers lifted their weapons. In that moment, Vexus moved with surprising speed. The Luminari Protector stepped forward and raised both hands. A pulse of intense light burst from its skin, so bright that Olivia had to shield her eyes. The security officers cried out in pain and confusion. When Olivia could see again, Wilson was on her knees clutching her head. Something dark and worm-like had partially emerged from the back of her neck, writhing as if in pain. Run! Vexus shouted. They sprinted past the disoriented security team. Behind them, Wilson screamed, a sound that was not at all human. What was that light? Olivia asked. As they ran, protection pulse, Vexus explained between breaths. Hurts the hidden ones cannot use often, takes much energy. They reached the docking bay just as another alarm sounded. Through the large bay windows, Olivia could see the Confederation ships firing on the station. The shields flared as they absorbed the impacts. The Horizon waited at the dock, engines glowing hot. The boarding ramp was down with Lieutenant Carter standing guard with several armed crew members. Quickly, he called. We've received orders from Admiral Peters. We're to take the Luminari and break away from the station immediately. As they hurried up the ramp, Olivia asked, What about the Admiral? He's staying to coordinate the station's defense, Carter replied. He sent a message to Earth Alliance headquarters. The Council is meeting now to decide what to do. Once aboard, the Horizon detached from the station. Through the viewport, Olivia watched as the station's defense systems activated, firing back at the Confederation ships. "What course, Commander?" asked the navigator. Olivia looked at the frightened Luminari huddled together on her bridge, their light pulsing in sync as if drawing strength from each other. "Set course for Earth," she said, firmly. "Maximum speed, it's time our leaders met our guests face to face." The Horizon raced through space toward Earth, pushing its engines beyond recommended limits. In the ship's conference room, Commander Olivia Scott gathered her senior officers and the Luminari refugees. "We have a problem," she told them. 3 Confederation warships are pursuing us. At our current speed, they'll catch us before we reach Earth. Lieutenant Carter displayed a star map on the screen. "We could try to lose them in the Hades Nebula. The radiation might mask our engine signature." "Too dangerous," said Engineer Greg Taylor. "The nebula would damage our shields. The Luminari might be especially vulnerable, given their energy-absorbing biology." Thala stepped forward, light pulsing thoughtfully. "We have knowledge that might help. On our ship, technology we could not save." "What kind of technology?" Olivia asked. "Shield enhancer," said Vexus. "Luminari ships use our own energy to strengthen shields. With right materials, we could build small version." Taylor looked interested. "You can modify our shield generators?" "Yes," Thala said. "Need special metals, crystal components." The engineer nodded. "I think we have what you need in storage. Let's go to engineering and see what we can do." While Taylor took several Luminari to work on the shield modifications, Communications Officer Miller reported to Olivia. "I've sent encrypted messages to Earth Alliance headquarters, but I'm not getting acknowledgement. I think there's interference." "The Confederation might be jamming long-range communications," Carter suggested. "They don't want Earth to hear our side of the story before they catch us." Olivia frowned. This was getting more complicated by the hour. "Keep trying. If you can't reach headquarters, try for any Earth Alliance ship or outpost." "Commander," said Science Officer Jeff Brown, who had been quietly analyzing data. "I've been studying the scans we took of the parasite that emerged from Officer Wilson. Its biology is unlike anything we've encountered." "Can you determine its weaknesses?" Olivia asked. "Not definitively, but it seems sensitive to certain light frequencies. That would explain why Vexus's energy pulse affected it." Olivia turned to Vexus. "Can all Luminari produce that pulse?" The Protector nodded. "All Luminari have ability, but pulse drains much energy. Young ones cannot do many times. Elders like Thala, maybe once only before needing long recovery." "So you're not just refugees," Olivia said, understanding dawning. "You're the only weapon against these parasites." "Not weapon," Thala corrected gently. "Healers. Light reveals truth, gives host chance to fight back." The ship suddenly shuddered as something hit the shields. "Long-range disruptors," Carter reported as they rushed back to the bridge. "The Confederation ships are gaining on us." Through the view screen, Olivia could see 3 sleek warships in pursuit. They were still distant, but definitely closing. "The gap. How much longer until the shield modifications are ready?" she asked. "Taylor says 20 minutes, Carter replied. "But we may not have that long." "Officer Miller, open a channel to the lead Confederation ship," Olivia ordered. "Let's try talking first." The main screen changed to show the face of a stern-looking alien. It had gray-blue skin and 4 eyes arranged vertically on its face. "This is Commander Vril of the Dravek Enforcement Fleet," it stated. "Power down your engines and prepare to surrender the contaminated beings." "This is Commander Olivia Scott of the Earth Alliance," Olivia replied. "The beings you're pursuing are refugees under our protection. They pose no threat to the Confederation." Vril's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "They are biological hazards declared extinct by Confederation law. Your interference is illegal. Final warning, surrender them or we will disable your vessel." "The Luminari have revealed that many Confederation leaders are being controlled by parasitic organisms," Olivia countered. "Is that the real reason you're hunting them? Because they can expose the truth?" The Dravek commander's face showed no reaction, but there was a slight pause before it responded. Your accusations are desperate lies. You have 5 minutes to comply. The screen went dark. That went well, Carter said sarcastically. Olivia turned to Thala, who had been watching from the side of the bridge. Could you tell? Is Commander Vril infected? Thala's light pulsed slowly. Yes, the darkness is inside. Most Dravek leaders controlled now. Another hit rocked the ship. The tactical display showed the Confederation vessels spreading out to surround them. They're coordinating to trap us, Carter said. Standard containment formation. At that moment, Engineer Taylor's voice came through the communication system. Commander, we've installed the luminary modifications to the shield generators. Ready to activate on your command. Do it, Olivia ordered. For a second, nothing seemed to happen. Then the ship's lights dimmed slightly as power was redirected. On the shield display, the energy field around the horizon glowed brighter, shifting, to include subtle patterns of light similar to the luminari's skin. Shields at 150% capacity, reported Carter, looking surprised. How is that possible? The luminari are channeling their own energy into our systems, Brown explained. They're literally powering the shields with their life force. Olivia looked at Thala with concern. Is this safe for your people? Temporary only, the elder replied, already looking dimmer. Gives time to reach safety. The pursuing ships fired again, but this time the horizon barely shuddered. Their weapons are having minimal effect, Carter said, but we still can't outrun them. Miller suddenly straightened at her station. Commander, I'm receiving a transmission. It's from an Earth Alliance battleship. The Sentinel has picked up our distress call and is moving to intercept. Relief washed over Olivia. The Sentinel was one of the most powerful ships in the Earth fleet. How soon can they reach us? 17 minutes at their current speed, Miller replied. We need to hold out until then, Olivia said. She turned to the navigation officer. Change course, head for the asteroid field in Sector 7. We can use the terrain to slow their pursuit. As the horizon altered course, the Confederation ships adjusted to follow. But their larger size made them less maneuverable as the human ship weaved between large space rocks. Their formation is breaking up, Carter reported. They can't maintain their containment pattern in the asteroid field. One of the Confederation ships clipped an asteroid, causing its shields to flare brightly. It fell back, leaving just 2 in close pursuit. The luminari on the bridge were visibly weakening, their glow diminishing as they continued to power the enhanced shields. Thala leaned against a console for support. You need to stop, Olivia told them. You're draining yourselves too much. Must continue, Vexus insisted. Until safe. A new alert sounded from the tactical station. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel ahead of us, Carter announced. Olivia felt her heart sink, thinking more Confederation forces had arrived, but then Carter smiled. It's the Sentinel. And she's brought friends. 3 Earth Alliance destroyers just arrived. On the view screen, Olivia watched as the massive Earth battleship moved between the horizon and its pursuers. The destroyers flanked, it in battle formation, weapons charged and ready. A new voice came through the communication system. Horizon, this is Captain Jack Nelson of the Sentinel. We received your emergency transmission. Looks like we arrived just in time. Very good timing, Captain, Olivia replied, relief evident in her voice. We have refugees aboard who need immediate protection. So we've heard, Nelson said. Admiral Peters managed to get a full report to Earth before Outpost 47 was attacked. The Earth Alliance Council is very interested in meeting your passengers. The pursuing Confederation ships had stopped, clearly unwilling to engage the Earth Alliance battle group. Thala and the other luminari finally relaxed, their light stabilizing as they stopped channeling energy into the shields. We go to your world now? Thala asked, hope visible in the brightening pulses of light across its skin. Yes, Olivia said. And I promise you, humanity will hear your story. The journey to Earth took 3 days. The Sentinel and its escort ships surrounded the horizon, forming a protective barrier against any further Confederation pursuit. During this time, Commander Olivia Scott spoke often with Captain Nelson of the Sentinel, learning that the situation had escalated dramatically. "The Confederation has issued an ultimatum," Nelson explained during one of their communications. "They demand we turn over all Luminari or face expulsion from the Confederation. They would cut off all trade and diplomatic relations with Earth over 8 refugees?" Olivia asked in disbelief. "They claim the Luminari pose an existential threat," Nelson replied. "But after hearing your report about these parasites, many in Earth leadership are starting to wonder if that's exactly why we should protect them." When the ships finally reached Earth orbit, Olivia gathered the Luminari in the observation lounge. Through the large windows, they could see the blue-green planet below, clouds swirling over the oceans and continents. "This is Earth," she told them. "Our home." The Luminari pressed close to the windows, their skin pulsing with bright patterns of wonder and excitement. For beings who had lost their own world, the sight of a living planet seemed to fill them with hope. "Beautiful," Thala said softly. "Much water, much life." "We've received instructions," Olivia continued. "A small committee from the Earth Alliance Council wants to meet with you privately before any official decisions are made. We're to take a shuttle down to a secure facility." "Will you stay with us?" Vexus asked. The Protector had become less stern over the journey but remained cautious. "Yes," Olivia assured them. "My senior officers and I will attend the meeting as witnesses to everything we've seen." The shuttle trip to Earth was tense, despite the escort fighters that surrounded them. Olivia worried about Confederation agents potentially making a move against the Luminari. The aliens themselves seemed overwhelmed by the experience, their light pulsing rapidly as they descended through Earth's atmosphere. They landed at a remote government complex surrounded by mountains and forests. Security was visible everywhere. Guards in Earth Alliance uniforms patrolled the grounds, and defense systems scanned the skies. Inside the main building, they were led to a large conference room where 5 people waited. Olivia recognized President Samantha Tucker, the leader of the Earth Alliance, sitting at the center of the table. Beside her sat Defense Minister Alice Johnson, Science Director Paul Wright, Ambassador Kate Russell, and Admiral William Chen, the head of Earth's fleet. "Commander Scott." President Tucker greeted them. "Thank you for bringing our guests safely to Earth. Please, introduce them." Olivia did so, with Thala stepping forward as spokesperson for the Luminari. The Earth leaders watched with fascination as the alien's skin glowed and pulsed with changing patterns of light. "We've read the reports from you and Admiral Peters," President Tucker said after the introductions. "They contain some very disturbing allegations about parasitic organisms controlling Confederation leaders. Before we make any decisions, we need to hear directly from the Luminari." Thala moved to the center of the room. "Thank you for shelter when all others hunt us. Our story not simple, but we'll try to explain." Over the next hour, Thala detailed how the Luminari had lived peacefully for centuries, developing their natural abilities to see and manipulate energy. They had discovered the parasites by accident when a diplomatic delegation visited their world. "We saw darkness inside visitors," Thala explained. "Tried to help, to heal. But the hidden ones feared exposure. They left quickly, then returned. With weapons." Science Director Wright leaned forward. "These parasites, can you describe them more precisely? How do they control their hosts?" "Small beings," Thala said, making a shape with its hands about the size of a human fist. "Enter through neck, attached to brainstem. Take control slowly. Host still thinks own thoughts, but parasite guides important decisions." "And you can detect them?" asked Admiral Chen. "Without any equipment. All Luminari see energy patterns," Thala confirmed. "Parasites have distinct pattern. Very dark, very cold." Ambassador Russell looked troubled. "If what you're saying is true, this could explain some of the Confederation's more aggressive policies in recent years." "Are there any of these parasites on Earth?" Defense Minister Johnson asked bluntly. Thala glanced at Vexus before answering. "Some, not many yet. Earth is new to Confederation. Parasites focus on older member Species first. More influence that way. Can you identify who is infected? President Tucker asked. Yes, Thela said. But better to show proof everyone can see, not just our word. Dr. Wright nodded eagerly. If we could capture one of these parasites for study, develop a detection method that doesn't rely on Luminari abilities. The Confederation won't give us time for research, Admiral Chen interrupted. Their ultimatum expires in less than 48 hours. We need to decide now. Do we protect the Luminari and face potential war with the Confederation, or do we hand them over to save ourselves? The room fell silent as the weight of the decision pressed on everyone present. Millions of human lives could be affected by how they answered. President Tucker stood and walked to the window, looking out at the Earth landscape. Throughout human history, we've had moments that defined us as a species, she said quietly. Moments where we chose what kind of people we wanted to be. She turned back to face the room. The Confederation is asking us to participate in genocide, to hand over the last survivors of a species for execution. And why? Because they can expose a terrible truth that powerful forces want to keep hidden. The consequences could be severe, Minister Johnson warned. The Confederation has technologies far beyond ours in many areas. We've only been in space for a relatively short time compared to them. Which is precisely why we need to make the right choice now, President Tucker replied firmly. If we surrender our principles so easily, what was the point of reaching for the stars in the first place? She looked directly at Thela. The Earth Alliance will not comply with the Confederation's demand. We will grant the Luminari sanctuary and refugee status. Further, we will launch an immediate investigation into the presence of these parasitic organisms among our own population. The Luminari's light pulsed brightly with joy and relief. Thela bowed deeply to the president. Thank you, the elder said. Luminari not forget this choice. Don't thank me yet, President Tucker replied grimly. We need to prepare for the Confederation's response, and we need a way to prove what you've told us to the rest of humanity and, eventually, to uninfected species in the Confederation. Admiral Chen nodded. I'll put the fleet on high alert. We should expect some kind of show of force at minimum. I have idea, Vexus said, stepping forward. If allowed access to human technology, Luminari can build device, amplifies our ability to reveal parasites, make them visible to all, not just us. Science Director Wright looked intrigued. A detection device? How long would it take to develop? With right materials, maybe 3 days, Vexus said. Get them whatever they need, President Tucker ordered. This could be our best chance to expose the truth. As the meeting continued with discussions of defense preparations and resource allocation, Olivia felt a strange mix of pride and fear. Humanity had chosen to stand up for what was right, even at great risk. But the coming days would test that, resolve to its limits. Outside the window, storm clouds were gathering over the mountains as if nature itself was preparing for the conflict to come. 4 days after Earth's decision to protect the Luminari, the Confederation response came. A massive fleet of 30 warships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They moved slowly but steadily toward Earth. Their message clear: surrender. The Luminari or face the consequences. Earth was not unprepared. Every available Earth Alliance ship had been called back to defend the homeworld. Orbital defense platforms had been activated, their weapons charged and ready. On the surface, people watched the skies with fear and determination. In a secure laboratory beneath the government complex, Vexus and 3 other Luminari worked tirelessly alongside human scientists. The device they were building looked simple, a silver disc about 3 feet across with intricate patterns etched into its surface. But the technology within it was like nothing the humans had seen before. Commander Olivia Scott visited the lab regularly, bringing updates about the approaching Confederation fleet. During one such visit, she found Science Director Wright watching the Luminari work with amazement. They've taught us more about energy manipulation in 4 days than we've learned in 50 years of research, he told her. Their understanding of light and radiation is extraordinary. Will the device be ready in time? Olivia asked. Vexus says they'll finish today, Wright replied. But they still need one crucial component, a significant amount of their own energy to initialize the system. Will that hurt them? They say it will weaken them temporarily but not cause permanent harm. Wright looked concerned. The real question is whether it will work as intended. Later that day, President Tucker called an emergency meeting. The Kaiur Confederation fleet was now just hours away from Earth. They've sent their final warning, she informed the gathered leaders and the Luminari representatives. We have 6 hours to surrender our Luminari contraband, or they will take military action. The device is ready, Vexus announced, but requires testing before use against parasites. How do we test it? Asked Admiral Chen. Need volunteer, Thala said. Human who we know is clean to stand near device when activated. If works correctly, should show normal human energy pattern visible to all. I'll do it, Olivia volunteered without hesitation. President Tucker nodded. Good. Test the device immediately. If it works, we'll proceed with the plan. The test took place in a large chamber. The silver disc was placed in the center, with Olivia standing beside it. The Luminari gathered around the device, placing their hands on its surface. As they focused, their light dimmed, seeming to flow into the disc itself. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the device began to glow with the same soft blue-green light as the Luminari's skin. A gentle pulse of energy expanded outward, washing over Olivia and continuing to spread throughout the room. Gasps filled the chamber. Around Olivia, a beautiful, complex pattern of golden light was now visible to everyone. It followed the shape of her body but extended slightly beyond it, a human energy signature, now visible to normal eyes. It works, Science Director Wright whispered. We can see what the Luminari see. The next phase of the plan moved quickly. As the Confederation fleet entered Earth orbit, President Tucker requested a final diplomatic meeting aboard the neutral space station Harmony, which orbited Earth's moon. The Confederation agreed, perhaps believing this meant humans were ready to surrender. A small delegation traveled to the station, President Tucker, Admiral Chen, Ambassador Russell, and Commander Scott. They brought Thala and Vexus with them along with the device hidden in a secure container. Several Earth Alliance ships escorted their shuttle, maintaining a protective formation. Inside the station's Grand Council chamber, representatives from 12 Confederation species waited. The tension was palpable as both sides took their positions at the circular table. The Dravik leader, High Commander Zora, spoke first, its 4 eyes fixed coldly on the humans. Have you brought the contaminated ones for proper disposal? That is the only acceptable outcome of this meeting. President Tucker stood tall. We've come to present evidence that will explain why Earth has granted sanctuary to the Luminari. Evidence that reveals the true reason they've been hunted to, near extinction. Angry murmurs rose from the Confederation representatives. The Athosian delegate, a tall being with silver skin, raised a hand for silence. What evidence could possibly justify violating a unanimous Confederation decree? Rather than tell you, we prefer to show you, President Tucker replied. She nodded to Commander Scott, who opened the container and removed the silver disc. Before the Confederation representatives could object, Thala and Vexus placed their hands on the device and activated it. The now familiar pulse of blue-green energy radiated outward, filling the chamber. Chaos erupted immediately. Around most of the Confederation representatives, dark, writhing shapes became visible at the base of their necks and skulls. Parasites, now exposed for all to see. Only 3 of the 12 delegates showed clean, natural energy patterns. The Dravik commander tried to flee, but Admiral Chen's security team blocked the exits. Through the station's windows, the gathered diplomats could see the Confederation, fleet-breaking formation, ships turning against each other as the uninfected crew members realized the truth. What is the meaning of this? Demanded the Athosian, one of the few without a parasite. Its voice shook with shock and outrage. Your Confederation has been infiltrated, President Tucker explained. These parasitic organisms have been controlling your leaders, pushing for policies that serve their interests, including the destruction of the one species that could naturally detect them. As security officers moved to detain the infected, representatives, many of whom were now convulsing as the parasites tried to maintain control, Ambassador Russell addressed the uninfected delegates directly. "The humans and Luminari are offering an alliance," she said. "Together we can free your worlds from these invaders. The device we've created can be modified to work on a planetary scale, revealing all hidden parasites." In the days that followed, word spread throughout the Confederation. Many worlds initially refused to believe the revelation. But as more infected leaders were exposed, resistance crumbled. Fighting broke out on some planets as the parasites tried to maintain control, but they were ultimately no match for the combined forces now aligned against them. 1 month after the confrontation at Harmony Station, representatives from 17 Confederation species gathered on Earth to sign a new treaty. The Luminari, once hunted to the edge of extinction, were now honored as saviors. Their knowledge and abilities would help guide the long process of removing all parasites from infected worlds. Commander Olivia Scott watched the ceremony from the back of the Grand Hall, feeling pride in humanity's choice. When all other civilizations had abandoned the Luminari, humans had stood firm, risking everything to protect a handful of refugees. That decision had not only saved an innocent species, but had freed countless worlds from invisible control. After the ceremony, Thala approached, her the Elder's light pulsing with strong, healthy patterns. "Your people did great thing," Thala said. "When given choice between easy path and right path, humans chose right path." "We almost didn't," Olivia admitted. "There was a lot of fear." "Courage, not absence of fear," Thala replied wisely. "Courage is facing fear, then acting anyway. Humans have much courage." "What will the Luminari do now?" Olivia asked. "Will you try to rebuild your civilization?" Thala's light pulsed in what Olivia had come to recognize as a smile. "Already begun. Earth offered land for new Luminari home. We teach humans our ways, humans teach us yours, together better future for all." As they looked out at the gathered representatives of many worlds, Olivia felt a sense of hope she hadn't expected to feel again after learning about the parasites. The road ahead would not be easy, but humanity had shown its true character when, facing its greatest test, they had become the shield for a defenseless people, and in doing so had helped save the galaxy itself.